Well, hello. My music was giving out. I am Dan Lutz, and I'm here with.
Tank, good evening.
Good evening. We're here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state and the Lumadonkeys. Let's get a little off track here. Yes. How's it going, Tank? How are you today?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing good. Just buried in my project. My head's all in that space there. So breaking loose. I didn't even notice that it already became so late. And good thing that you were tied up in another another video you were doing. So
I get lucky sometimes.
Yeah.
So how's your man? Your volume's a little bit low. I want to make sure mine's okay too. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay.
All I can do is pull my monitor closer. It's the only way to make my sound a little louder. So what's going on, Tank?
Oh, I'm just kind of waiting for the next move. I decided not to bother Kim too much right now until she tells me, because, it gets to be a certain point where it's like, obviously Kim knows what's going on, that I don't need to remind her. And there's nothing worse when you're trying to get some work done and people keep asking you, hey, how close are we? So when she tells me, I'll tell you, but as of right now, I don't have an update.
Okay.
I'll let you know when I do. So,
Yeah.
But, honestly, every single source outside of Kim is confirming exactly what we thought. So, I'm just waiting for the final, like, hey, this is where we're at. We'll do this. And I suspect, this is just theory. Kim hasn't confirmed this or denied this, nor have I asked her. But you know, she was talking about creating a wallet system, and all of a sudden we had Chase Bank came out and they suddenly have a wallet system. Coincidentally, Chase Bank and the Federal Reserve are, they're wishy-washy at best, but they're supposed to be working with us, right?
Wishy-washy, but yeah. Well, that'll be good. Wonder if they'll give me an account.
Well, I kind of feel like a lot of the banking issues we had, it's like I'm expecting that they'll go away, right? A lot of the prejudice and bias against this will, for being awesome, I guess, like the bias against that, like, hey, you guys have too much of a chance to actually change the world, and we don't want that. So I think that we're gonna be able to change it.
Well, that's good. Well, I hope that we are in a very short period of time. I'm trying to run up the flagpole, the key military and intelligence system, and see what kind of feedback I get.
Yeah. I mean, it gets to a point where, like, you really have to appreciate the genius of this move, right? It's like, they all did not, like, you asked about Kimberly and Gogan, and they're like, oh, that's a scam, that's internet lore, that's nonsense, conspiracy theory. But now, what are they going to say, right? Every time a transfer comes through, it's like, thank you, courtesy of Kim's. Like, whose system did you use? Kim's. Military, oh, what stopped the war? Oh, it was the Kim system. Just saying. I think after a while, it's kind of like, we're getting proven right. Yeah. And I spent a lot of time being wrong. So it's.
Well, I know. As long as we can keep American great, that would be the most important thing.
We can keep the whole Earth great. It doesn't have to just be America. I think everybody has the right.
Well, I was going for the KAG.
Oh yeah, keeping America great. Yeah. Oh, I was right. The KU. What is it? What is it? KUN. Kim's Underground Network. Yeah. That one I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. 8 Kun. So everything's named with a K. Anything going on here, I don't know. The Kim Jong Un. No. Doesn't work.
So funny to me. It's like.
Well, so I've not been watching anything other than the impeachment going on there, and I must say that the Republicans are looking awesome. I mean, they are on point. They are clear. They're making their points, and the other side, the Democrats, seem to be, I understand why now they want to have attorneys come in and speak for them, because they're very low intelligence. I mean, the way they speak, the way they present themselves, they don't really have they can't carry the message. They can't juggle multiple things at one time. That's why they were always trying to substitute in the previous hearings and the judicial hearings that were going on with Nadler. They were always trying to get their staffers. Well, what made them a staffer? Well, they were an attorney that they hired as a staff member to speak for them, because they can't speak. So this is all becoming obvious. And Schiff is looking so shifty, up there. His eyes are like, they must be extending an additional quarter-inch out. I don't know. They're very and they're darting around, and I think you had a good.
Yeah, he looks like a hamster who was made into a politician, right? Like in a lab. Yeah, I know. I mean, he really does too. Like he's mousy, right? So that's so it goes. I'm having a blast watching them implode. Not that I'm one to, I don't like that kind of entertainment per se, but I'd rather watch them fall apart than watch them devour humanity and get up in front of all of us and throw it in our face, right?
Well,
it gets old.
I'm just wondering, when you're watching, do you get the feeling you want to have popcorn?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. I kind of feel like, finally, the credits were taking forever. Now
yes.
The movie started.
Yeah, the credits have been rolling and rolling, the slow roll. It's like,
the beginning of Star Wars. Production. This is a white hat production.
Yeah.
So,
It's a white hat production. That's a good one.
It's a good time. It's a good time. I mean, it's a really fun time to be on this side of it because we've had a lot of years of struggling through it,
Right.
and trying to get to this place. And I don't think anybody knew the exact path. You got to think Kim didn't really hit the scene until 2 years ago, and even now, people we have probably close to 10,000 followers on Instagram that are just waiting on Sidori to post her next video that details some 2-minute blurb on who's Kim. But they're just and that's a lot of the Q guys, right?
Yeah.
Which you have to appreciate. They're educated, they're well researched, And I gotta say, I get offended. I don't follow the Q, stuff that much, but I do get offended for them because it's such an ignorant thing to attack them. It's so transparent. If you attack people that are doing all they can to tell the truth, because that's what they're doing. They research everything, they prove everything. It's why would you not like them? I mean, I don't have to agree with everything they say, everything. And I think that the things that don't fit aren't really from the real Q drops. There's just other theories too that people throw out there. But I'm not trying to hurt anybody. They're not dressing up like rogue bag ladies from the Bizarro world of Antifa, right? Setting up Taibo armies and kickboxing classes on the beach to go storm the Capitol. I mean, it's all they do is help. Every time you see a Republican event, it's hey, we had a barbecue and we're all hugging afterwards and crying because we're so happy. And then you see Antifa and they're we must take down the fascists. The only way to do it is to take absolute control. It's wait, I don't know if you guys know what that word means.
Yeah, it's funny. The funny thing is that the people that are supportive of Antifa or cheering them on or part of Antifa all think of themselves as the ones who are doing all the hugging. Right? Oh, your volume dropped.
My volume dropped?
I'm sorry. I was looking.
Wait, what you said? They're doing all the
hugging, all the hugging, yeah. Because all the barbecues going on. I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong monitor. It's a little bit delayed on there. So we reversed that. So your mouth was going like this, but I didn't hear anything. I went, oh, you lost it, dropped your volume. So, but this is more real time.
Yeah, it had to adjust. Yeah, no, I mean, but it's also they think they tried to play the underdog card, right? We're the ones that are oppressed, right? We're the underdogs. It's are you the ones? Aren't you the same ones who are whose kids are being forced to learn about fisting in preschool, pedophilia being a normal sexual practice? I mean, that are being forced poisoned, all the time. I mean, is that you guys that are suffering through that, or us, right? So I think it's a master plan, on their part. It's they really thought they had us licked by acting like the underdogs, but they're not. I mean, but now it's great to see people like Matt Gaetz and Jim Jordan get up there and kick ass and take names and they've always been head and shoulders above any of the questioning. I mean, you see Kamala Harris. I swear to God, it's the night before she watched Law and Order. She wrote down everything the lawyer asked. She doesn't even care what the content is. She's just going to repeat exactly what they said, right? And no matter what. Whereas Jim Jordan will take facts and break somebody's head over it, and they're just sitting there looking stupid, right?
Right.
And it gets to a point where nobody will even stop Jim Jordan because it's he's so much more powerful in what he's saying. Right. I love that.
No, definitely. They're very much in control of the situation. And that's, but the thing is, they're not in the majority, but the majority thinks they're in control, but they're looking ridiculous. I don't know. They say they really don't have anything other than proceeding down the line that they said. They don't have a plan. They don't know what else to do. The Democrats are going to be continuing down this road, and because they think that this is how the only chance they have to get Trump out of office. Well, other than trying to do something more like blow up the Capitol or something along those lines, you know.
Right.
But they're not in control. They're blinded. All their satellites were taken out. They have no money. They've been starved out. You and they're continuing to just again circle the drain as they think that they're I think Adam Schiff is riding the rubber ducky around the drain as it's spiraling down.
You know, well, it's I really I love being able to be an active participant to try to like change things right now, which I find to be very rewarding and exciting. And you know, we're definitely going after child protective services, and I realize these things are directly connected with child protective services and the vaccine. And as we're exposing more and more of what's happening, right, we actually got the evidence today about what the judge made his decision on to take Kara Wachowski. The judge had already handed over these two beautiful kids to the father who's the abuser, right? And then on Tuesday, Kara went in to basically say, look, my son has already died in this man's custody. The safest place for her daughter is with her. The woman with no criminal record, no history of sexual abuse, no wrongdoing of any kind, has a full-time job, whereas the husband is unemployed, lives with his father, and I guess he doesn't have custody anymore. But I did want to announce that Kara did see her daughter today, and Sasha is definitely alive, and she's okay, and she met with her she got to see her daughter for 2 hours today, at a Barnes and Noble cafe, observed by like 10 people. And there were some strange things that did happen, though, that I think are important. Her daughter kind of froze up a little bit, and she was, like when your kids are running away from you, and she was like, come back here. She was, I'm gonna count to three, and she's like 1, 2, 3, right? And the daughter went into kind of a trance, which implies that she might be being manipulated, and they're using some kind of hypnotic therapy, I would say, that is triggering her to go into a catatonic state of some sort. And I think that's a pretty scary indicator about what could potentially be happening there.
Sure. Yeah. No. That's a. Yeah. So what are they telling her to do while they count down and making her do something, right?
Well, yeah, when your mother counts to three, and that's really like three and younger is when they really kind of try to wreck and fracture their brain and create whatever they want them to be, whether it's a sex slave or a super soldier. That's kind of the age where they're most susceptible to programming, right? Because that's where you learn the basic things like trust and love and joy, and you learn how to get along with your environment and trust. You know this is going to happen, right? So that to me is scary, and it's just a horrible abusive act. And and how do you prove it, right? Well, and to me, I'm like, well, you got video cameras at Barnes and Noble that saw this little girl freeze for 5 minutes and never blink her eyes for 5 minutes, right? Just all of a sudden stopped a 4-year-old. It wasn't because her mom counted to 3 and she was responding to that. She was responding to programming. So there's that.
Wow.
But anyways, that's one thing. But on the other side of this, I mean, the good news is she's alive, and the mother got to see her, so that's a win. But what is really incredible is this judge. Now there's a new judge. So the first piece of evidence that really should terrify people is how the hell can a judge give custody to an abusive father, the son dies, and then the mother doesn't get the child back, right? That's scary, right? But then to make things kind of even more interesting, I guess, he made this judgment based on a printout, okay? Now, on the printout, it's from the morgue, and on the morgue, the autopsy results, it says 2-year-old, 10:30 p.m., 10:31, he came in to the morgue, right? So on Halloween night. It says 2-year-old, and then you go across the line. It never says the name of the 2-year-old. And then it just says no opioids found. That's all it says. So basically, the autopsy report says he wasn't drugged. That's not an autopsy. That doesn't mean that he didn't do something else to this kid, right?
Right.
And that was how he made the decision not to give the child back to the mother. And I'm like, what do you don't even know? I mean, you could challenge that evidence all day. What was the lawyer doing? Sleeping?
But what?
Like, what? And it was a printout, like a screenshot. It was terrible. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it passed. So,
obviously, there was it's a non-reason. It was just a piece of paper to say, "Hey, I'm giving the child." For
you know what? And I know we had put together a very thorough timeline and a very detailed letter, and we wrote that to the representative of Skillicorn, as well as every media outlet, newspaper, in that whole area, plus every major mainstream media outlet in the country that we have now notified with very specific notice saying, we're letting you know we are fully aware that you already covered up what happened with Epstein. And based in the light of that, right, this has now come to light that ABC covered up, that they knew 3 years ago what happened, that this reporter, this journalist, she had all the evidence to prove it. She was so diligent about it. She was making noise wherever she could, and it never came to light. And because that never came to light, who knows how many kids have been trafficked through there, right? So obviously, the mainstream media is not a myth anymore. They are complicit in child trafficking. That is not an accusation. That is a fact. You do not cover up a story like that because it's convenient to your one rich buddy who might have, taken you out at one time. Like that's the kind of thing that they make the decisions on. There's probably videos of every one of them doing something awful, and Epstein's got it all, so no one's going to put anything out about Epstein. But screw Epstein. The guy was a dirtbag who was crushing kids, and the Clintons are all part of this same racketeering, nonsense. So we put them on blast, and we let them know, look, this case. Now the lawyers have already said it's too high profile. I can't wait for a lawyer to stand up, an attorney, somebody in the government and say, you know what, this case is too important, regardless of how high profile it is. It's too important not to take a stand. That's how I feel. So, anyways.
It is important. So, well, the stand is being done. So I applaud you, Tank, for everything you're doing there. I wish I could do more.
Dude, you're doing the part that I need you to do. so, yeah, you're doing your part too. It's fine.
Okay, yeah. But I spoke with my friend that was involved with this as well, and he's talked about his network, and at the time he was going off to go and go on raids to save children, off book type of events, right, into other countries. And it just even back then I said that I wish I could go, that I would be part of something like that. I was never trained. I never went into the military to do those kind of things, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm sure that I would be able to do something to help. But,
I know lots of guys who haven't been trained who, not trained that way, and I've been put through some ad hoc training, as needed, but I've never gone into a raid like that or anything like that before. Although I have beaten up pedophiles in my lifetime, but almost by accident. So just because they were pervs, but yeah. So, anyways, there's that, and and then we broke down and kind of broke through a very thorough explanation, simplified detail of how to take down vaccines and how to do this across the board. And we finally got through and got some love back that we're going to get introduced to RFK and hopefully work with him to try to bring that down. I realize the key is not to use attorneys.
Right.
Because attorneys They can't argue it, right? They have to go along with the court, or they lose their career and their
Right.
life, and their cushy lifestyle. It's like, hey, you should treat what we did, lose everything. Then it doesn't matter what happened. It's like, fuck it. Like, it's like, who cares? Like,
Well, that's
you're just
it.
kind of going.
Yeah, yeah. You need to work with some people that are not attorneys that know the law and know how to manipulate it. And
Reach out to your boy and tell him to call me back, please. By the way, I've called him like 5 times now.
Sure, I'll give it a shot. And see where he's at with things. So there's, I'll do that.
I feel like we're pretty good people to be, friends with here. Pretty darn quick. So hopefully, hopefully we break down some doors.
If I would say probably there's a reason why he hasn't called back. He might be out of the country. Something like that. It could be something like that.
Or maybe he doesn't like white people. Who knows? It's hard to say.
Well, he's white, so I was.
Oh well,
he doesn't seem to be like
that would be in line.
I don't think he's a self-hating, hates toxic masculinity.
Toxic masculinity. It's going to be the best bar in New York.
I know.
So what else is going on, man? And you see anything in the news? I haven't even looked at the news at all today. I've been nonstop on the phone trying to.
I know that there's some stuff that's rolling by in our chat room here. As I've been looking at, it's kind of interesting, and it just gave me an idea because there's they were mentioning Serial Brain 2, that there is I guess a new one out there. That I was just thinking, it would be good to do is like a movie night.
Yeah.
But with like these like Serial Brain 2, and get a bunch of people on to watch. We share the screen, watch it, get people to stop along the way. We can talk about it. It's just an idea. Serial Brain 2 is.
I think it's a fun idea. I'm down.
Yeah.
I feel like everything is a movie right now.
Weren't we going to do another Q&A?
We were, but then I realized, they have the wisdom of Mark Z and Bruce and Nick, whatever his name is, all those guys. So I'm like, they don't need to hear from me. Like, they're getting ready to exchange, man. They're busy. So I figured there's no sense, right?
I thought it happened already.
Yes, but no one has the 800 numbers yet. But that's only because fill in the blank of whatever excuse was used 4 years ago, the same one applies today. It doesn't matter. The only reason why they don't have the 800 numbers is because there's not going to be an RV. That's what comes up. Because this has basically been altered and, a massive psyops. And at this point, to be involved in a psyops, it's like being, in the ballroom of the Titanic, as it's like flying and the tables are flying across the room. And you're the last ones there going, dude, I can't wait to get there. It's like, you're not making it, man. It's not going to happen. So.
Yeah, the ship is sinking. It's like, can I get another water here at the table?
Yeah. Like, my bread is cold. It's like, yeah, well, let's make those. Well, the ship's going down. We're all going to die. So,
one of the interesting things about that Titanic that I never knew was it was literally because the people on the boat were opposed to the Federal Reserve. Did you know that angle?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Aldridge, one of the guy's name, was a very wealthy family, also in control. They were so basically the sinking of the Titanic was just another one of those false flag type things, but people thought it was German U-boats and all the rest of that. But literally, it was done on purpose to kill these families. They were all given these tickets for the maiden voyage, right? For this fantastic unsinkable ship that they ran into an iceberg, and they went out of the way to get to the iceberg. So, if you think about the story, it kind of makes more sense than, there's something up there. But yeah, another one of those things. So we have to be aware, as we roll down the line, the next new system, that these kind of things were always done, for people to gather power, right, and to at the detriment of everyone else. And it seems to be that's the theme there, right? It's always,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's not an anomaly. It's the practice.
it's the
It's
practice.
like, yeah,
And
it's
and I keep going back to the ones at the highest part of this that were laughing about all of humanity and what they could make them do. It was like, well, let's like exaggerate these other pagan practices, right? And make them do all these sacrifices and make them do all these things, and we give them power and see, oh look, it works. You're now and you have more power, right? So they created a system, but people can get power by doing good things. It does. I mean, uh, you know, it, and it's not the power to do evil, right? Which is what they're doing. We have the power to do good. I mean, when we're, just we have power here because we have an organization of a video structure, and we do this every day, and there's power in that. It's meant for good, right? It's to promote the human empowerment. Oh, by the way, that I included human empowerment terminology into the project I'm working on. Just a little side note.
nicely done. Nicely done. Yeah.
uh,
We're rebranding this. We're rebranding this thing, man.
yeah,
I love it.
you got to redo it, right? And so the power is there on the side of good. And if you want to do things on the side of bad, then there's power there too. But why are you choosing that? Why, what is it that makes you want to go down that path? All the world is against you, so you might as well be against them. Well, this goes back to understanding that manifestations are all coming from you. So you're creating the world that you live in. It's you're 100% responsible for everything that happens to you, and people
Hello?
can't get into that. They want to blame someone else. They want to basically say it's the man that's after me. It's the man keeping me down. Right?
Hey, yeah, keep talking. I'll be right back.
Sure. It's the um, the corporate entities that we can't get ahead from. It's the bankers. The systems are put in place, right? And let's say what I was working and had many businesses and all had bank accounts and they shut me out, right? All of those accounts were shut down. Welcome back. Oh. But did it stop me? Did I then turn to the dark side because I had all my bank accounts removed? No. I said, oh well, I'm in cryptocurrency now. I was already in it. I said, well, no better way than to live it. All right. So from that point on, and it actually got out of the system completely. So it is it's freeing on one side too because there's no debt. I'm not in a constant state of creating debt and making being put into some. Doesn't mean I don't have bills. Doesn't mean I don't have. I'm not indebted to people that are working with me and helping me on things like that has happened, and I appreciate the help that's come in. And one of the things, the way I treat that is accepting blessings when people want to help. Always accepting, because to deny it is actually to deny the energy behind it, which is
That's very true, Ronald. I totally agree.
yeah.
I always say you have to know how to receive a gift properly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
open-hearted with no strings attached type of things. That's the way it is. That's why I was doing this program CEO Space, which was about cooperative capitalism, which was always about just helping others around you without expecting anything back. That's the short version of it. Yeah, so I condensed it into the elevator speech. What is it about? So, because if you're not expecting anything back, right? It's not a deal. It's not a part of the Babylonian accounting system, Babylonian money magic system, right? Expecting interest back. You're expecting something else. So by giving, you're actually helping both them and yourself with the energy of it. You give because you can. Don't give when you can't. Yeah, don't put yourself into debt to give, which is part of where this gets taken advantage of by people, especially in some of the religions around the world where they want you to go into debt, right? So that what they're selling you is an idea, right, of oh, God will be mad at you or something like that. Then that's not charity. That's not true giving. That's again part of the money magic, mind control.
Yeah, it's all designed. I mean, they're devouring any access we have to really, pull from the substance that is ours, right? I mean, the whole idea is like Cypress Hill used to say, from the Bible, God gave us all the plants, the herbs, the earth to use. Like everything here is for us to put to use, right? Now, if we don't have access to it, we can't own it. We can't, have our little piece of land. Because this was the original idea. This used to be one of the fundamental rights in America, like that you couldn't take away, was land ownership. Right? They changed it, they amended the Constitution in the '70s to take that away.
Well, before that, you had to actually be a land owner to vote.
Wow. Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. I remember that was the big move west. I mean, everybody was just killing each other to get land. Sure, the little piece of paradise there.
Yeah, you have your own land. You're responsible. You take care of it. And that because you were responsible for it, you were then also responsible to vote. I'd rather raise the voting age, not lower it to 16. I'd rather raise the voting age to 24. And for the biological reason is our brain stops developing at that point. All right. I mean it's growing. It stops growing. Doesn't mean your mind stops growing at that point. But or if you kind of like an emancipated minor, like if their reason to lower it to 18 from 21. Was before it was 24, I believe. In the very beginning, it was 24, and then they lowered it to 21. Then they lowered it to 18. Now they want to lower it to 16. I think you need to go back to 24, unless you are like an emancipated minor. If you like join the military and you're 18 years old, okay, you're responsible, right? You've got real world experience. Your life's on the line. You should be able to vote. But I'm sorry, if you're just out of high school and figuring out what you're going to do, if you're going to go to college or work at McDonald's, no, you don't get to vote. You don't know what you're doing. You have no idea.
But this is, and I agree, not that I think it matters, to be quite honest, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like this, right? It's kind of say, let's take all of our life experience and let's see what we've done, right? So if I take all of our life experience, let's take all the most successful, the way we measure success, from all the successful bankers, financial managers, attorneys, politicians, corporates, CEOs, every one of them, I would put any 16-year-old from almost anywhere in their place, and they would do a better job. Think about what has happened. Every bank in the world is insolvent. Every country in the world is in massive debt. Every corporation is a complete sham, and every one of these have been complicit in taking our babies and trafficking them on some level. And at the top level, the most successful, they are all guilty of that. They're conscious of it. They do not get to say, "Oh, I didn't know." Like I noticed that the train had a lot of screaming coming from it, but who knew that could have been cows, right? Like you don't get to claim that, right? You knew what was happening. All of them knew, and they've all turned a blind eye, turned their back on kids. kid, right? That is standard practice. So I'm kind of like, it's hard. Like even like when it, like right now, it's like, well, you would say we need somebody with experience to manage our funds. The hell we do. The last thing I want is anybody who the most qualified people we get. Who are we going to pull from? The Federal Reserve for what? Because they're qualified in money laundering, or the banks in Europe because they know how to sit around and occasionally move some money and then find a way to double it and just be like, that's the way it works. No, it doesn't. It doesn't work that way. This whole thing has been a lie. So it's like, I don't need somebody who's an expert in the lie.
It's a Ponzi scheme, right? It's something that was created for their own benefit as a con. They basically led everyone into it. The con was it's for the benefit of everyone, but it wasn't. It was for their own benefit. They convinced everyone. They put up the United Nations, all good feeling. They put up the World Bank. Hey, we're going to lend money to you so you can develop your country. Did that happen? No. What did they do? They took your resources and gave you worthless paper.
Yep.
I mean,
it's scary.
With all the knowledge that I had, and I was early on the boat to know about what was going on with the birth certificates. I was 16 and on this, right? I knew about it. When I was even working at my first job, I think was McDonald's and like Sizzler, bus boy and things like that when I was in high school, just to make some spending money. And I knew at that time when I filled out my W-2s and that, I knew what I was doing to file exempt. Not just because I was a student, but because I knew what it meant. I already read about it. I already researched. I knew about birth certificate entities. So with all that knowledge,
wait, how did you get that knowledge when you were a kid? Like, what were you doing? It's amazing to me. Like when I was a kid, we were watching horror movies and eating animal crackers and drinking Mountain Dew all night. I didn't know anything about birth certificates.
Oh man, I was I was the kid that was looking at the impeachment of Nixon on the TV. We had a tube TV, right? It had tubes in it, right in the back and stuff. I used to replace the tubes and try and make the screen work better. But I was watching the politics.
Amazing.
I was a young kid. I did the horror movies and eating the Hostess Twinkies and all that kind of stuff. I did that but I was I had friends that were always like adults, and I was a little kid. I was doing business conversations and opening businesses. Yes, I had a pie factory.
A pie factory?
I had a pie.
Like a real one?
Yeah. Well, I was selling pies. I think I was doing something on there like around 80 pies a month.
Man, when I hear you talk, I think to myself, what have I been doing with my life? It's amazing the experience you have. It's like,
I was
a pie factory?
Yeah, a pie factory. Because I think I told you before, I was chased by some of the Amish from their orchards because I would raid their orchards for fruit for my pies.
Mm-hmm.
7, 8, 9 years old, chasing me with a pitchfork. But the other places where I got the apples and the peaches, that's what apples and peaches made pie. And I would literally go up into the mountains, right? And as I knew where all the wild fruit trees were.
Wow, man, that's amazing.
Yeah, and I'd climb the trees.
We did that too when I was a kid. I grew up where I grew up was kind of like where you grew up. It's upstate New York. There was always wild fruit everywhere. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I remember I was baking since I was 3. Right, so I was making cookies. I made animal. I actually have. I could still see my have memories of literally making cookies in the shapes of animals, right? And I remember compared to my hand, right? Because I put the giraffe and the elephant in my hand, right? The cookies, and comparatively, my hand was so small because I found much later, when I was adult already, I found the actual forms for the cookie cutters, right? And I said, "Oh wow, those are really small compared to my hand." And I had the exact memory of what my hand looked like compared to the cookies I was making, because that's how I came up with the
Wow.
price. I was selling those things from kindergarten. I'd sell candy and cookies from my little desk. But I was very entrepreneurial when I was very young, and then. But anyway, so all that experience, all of it was. I guess we got a little sidetrack here, but uh, everything I really know about the what's behind the financial system came from the time of say 2014. That's when I started hearing about the bonds, right? The super Pacellis, and they went crazy on super Pacellis, which I got the background from my friend who was in the CIA, and he told me about what was going on and what they were used for, and he'd tell me stories. And I'd visit with him, I'd stay at his house whenever I was in Utah. Learned a lot, right? And he got into trouble with him with and a pal of his, because this pal was one of the traders, the Fed traders, and they both got admonished because they took some of these bonds and did it themselves. The bonds they did were where there was literally a pallet of uncut bills, right? That went
Right.
with these bonds, right? And you had to move them all together, right, to
Right.
make it work, right? And so they organized the stuff, put it on a plane, and it came out of the Philippines actually, and they took it and they put it on the put it into trade, and then they got in trouble. They the guy that was the Fed trader, went into the jail system, and they moved him around for 2 years. They broke his legs.
Wow.
Never went to trial. Never went to trial. Just
Yeah,
moved him around.
because it's their you violated their rules. You hurt their profits, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're allowed to counterfeit, but you're not allowed to. I mean, that's what it is. It's counterfeiting because neither they went back or something.
Yeah, the one that was the one that was in the CIA. They just removed him from the system. They removed all his money that he had in the Knights of Malta. He had a 301 account at the Vatican, and they removed it. It's you're okay. You just lost, all right? And they both were at that point they never could get money again, right? They were always out of money after that point. But so I started learning.
Amazing.
Yeah, I started learning about these systems and what was behind it, right? I knew it was the bankers, right? I didn't know about the bonds, and I really didn't understand how the platform trading worked and what it was. But that's where my education was. Going to Swiss Indo helped a lot actually, and with a lot of education. So spending 4 trips over 3 months, going back and forth there from the Philippines to Laos, and I spent weeks there at a time, and I learned a lot. Got a lot of information, and that helped put me in, and then headed to China, right? For a year, took 20 trips to China. So, but to get to the point to know that there was, this hierarchy above the Rothschilds, which I always heard about, but how do you really get information? How do you really know what's going on there? It's all Illuminati. What does that mean? It's always this
demons are there, and
yeah.
I talked to somebody tonight who said that he's like, I like this one billionaire. He works for the top bank. I'm like, no, he doesn't. I'm like, no, I know he probably thinks he does, but he doesn't.
Right.
And even if it was the top of some level of the cabal of whatever, but it's amazing that you're right. How would anybody find out? That's why this is so unprecedented in what Kim has done.
Yeah. Well, the one thing, that picture that you guys put on the front of some of your videos, where it shows the circle within a circle, and there's a finger
the
pointing.
Sun Tzu circle. The order.
When I saw that, that's why I wanted a copy of that whole thing on a scan. I want to see a scan of that so I can look and see and see, because that's made sense. The spinning circles within a circle. That's why no one can see what's going on, right? Because it's only the one from the very center looking outwards can see everything. Anyone looking in is just going to see things sliding by them, right? Time after time.
And you can actually take the circle, right? So if you take the circle, and imagine it's like a 3-dimensional, and you pull it up, right, from the center.
You got a pyramid.
And now you have a pyramid, but it's a pyramid, and everything else is on a 2-dimensional plane. Like, if you can imagine that.
Oh,
so
sure.
The pyramid being 3-dimensional, everything else is 2-dimensional. So even when you look on a 2-dimensional level, all you see is what's next to you, right?
Well, notice the step pyramids. Right. They're levels. You can, from the top, you can see levels, and everything.
And at the top, you can see everything else, and you keep everybody in a compartment, right?
Yeah.
And that's why everything is controlled that way, right? The military is controlled that way. Like, each compartment follows orders. Everybody build this part, and then one group assembles it. And it's only the ones at the top that realize everybody just built a part they thought was for, a water system, and they just built the atomic bomb, right? And that's kind of how it comes together. That is exactly what's happened. That's why, we can forgive most people involved on some level, because we've been involved, right?
Sure.
Like, whether we know it or not, unwittingly we have contributed to our own demise, right? It's the whole, as we fight for universal health care. We need universal health care, and everybody's bought in. Yeah, health care, it's so good. What happens if I got to go to the doctor? I need this. I need my medications. No, you don't. Medications are designed to shorten your lifespan. You can see it. If you were to just study the lifespan, you can see exactly where it happens. You'll see people, they retire, they go in, oh, you have high blood pressure, we're just going to put you on blood pressure medication. No big deal. Then we're going to add this to it. Then we're going to add this to it. Now, every time you go to the doctor, you expect to get put on a drug. Now you've created the pharma coma condition, right, where your health is in demise everywhere. And you're like, well, hey, you're getting older. No, you're not. You're taking 9 different pharmaceutical drugs, and the one, interacts with the other one, and now you have all these different things going on in your body. Nobody cares. They're leading you to your death.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I started taking care of my father, and he had 38 medications for the day, right? And I was dividing them all up. I said, this is quite a lot, right? To segregate into hours in these little pill boxes, right? And it's like, this is what you take. And I go, this was craziness, right? And my father was in very horrible condition, right? He wasn't feeling well all the time. It was really, he had no ambition to even move, right? It was almost like a coma, but he was alive watching TV, right? That's the death knell, right? They're watching the so, but then I said, this has got to stop. So I started researching the medicines. And I said, this one counteracts this one counteracts this one counteracts this one. And I said, you've got 4 that are supposed to do the same thing, So I basically cut out all of his medications, right? And I brought it down to, I think I was giving him 4. And I said, I stopped. And then I went into the doctors, and I said, and this is at the VA. And I said, and I showed him, look, this doesn't make any sense. So he brought it up to 7. I said, you need this one and this one and this one. And so he brought it up to 7. I said, okay, fine. But you eliminated all the rest of that, right? But where was this coming from? All this medication came from the pharmacy within the VA, right? And they were moving all those pills. And who was paying the bill? The government.
Yeah. So, more drugs, more better. It's like, I guess.
Yeah.
Because it fuels the pharma industry. Yeah. So, basically, I think we'll have to go here, Dan.
Okay.
Probably looks like I have something developing. Yeah, so that is what happens, and you know what?
Well,
We get to change it, and I, say this. I feel like every single day for like 4 years, but I really think that Kim just broke the back of the cabal, right? And we're winning and kicking ass and taking names, and filing lawsuits, and we got all types of progress we're making everywhere. And you're building gold mines, virtual gold mines. I mean, things are coming together. You know.
yeah.
Now, if we
Well,
can just fund it all, we'll be a formidable force to be reckoned with, to say the least.
yes, indeed. Well, let's okay. We can break here. I want to ask for some help. This is with the YouTube channel. I need help. I have 900 videos roughly, a little shy, but almost 900 videos. By the end of the week, I think we'll have a 900 videos on my channel. I need help moving them, downloading them, and moving them. I don't have time to do them, and I don't know what's going to happen. But it is. Look, everyone is really fearful that starting on December 10th, I think it is, that YouTube is just going to decide to wipe out channels, and we can see the censorship is increasing. So we may end up losing this, and so I want to move to BitChute. So I need volunteers to contact me in Telegram and say they're willing to just download videos and upload. That's all I need. Download and upload. Download and upload. Just take a segment of them from this date to this date and start there, and just start when you're done with this. When you hit this date, all right, just let us know. But I need to. That's the only way I can see to get it done in time, because I definitely can't do it. So if you got some spare time and want to put an hour or two a day in, you can get a couple going, and that would help out. So please contact me.
I think that's a great idea. And also, I need help as well, because I am going to. We've already begun the paperwork, and we're going to sue YouTube, and we're going to make sure that we challenge them on every single violation from everyone who has been corrupted by this really horribly corrupt platform, which has cost many people money because they've taken viewership and sponsorship because of it. They have lied about their numbers, and we can prove it. So we are going to make sure to present all of that evidence in an actual. We're going to enter it into the court of record. Then we're going to file a RICO lawsuit against them, because after it's proven in the court of record, and we have a grand jury that actually shows that yes, they have worked to suppress the freedom of speech of the American people. They have sought to actually start war in treasonous acts by promoting propaganda, child pornography, and various other things, while they have suppressed the truth that we have validated, that we've put out and proven over and over and over again. So we're going to file a massive lawsuit, and eventually we're going to figure out either YouTube will collapse or we'll own it. I'm not sure which one, but just FYI. So
Wonderful.
So both things work. Both things work. So that's all I got, Dan.
Sounds good to me. Well, we'll come back tomorrow and we'll start again.
All right. Everybody have a great night.
All right. All right. Good night.